Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on a calculator to help people who make kilts, also known as kilt makers. And lately we've been working on helping them determine how many pleats and how big they are and how much gap there is and things like that. All right, now the thing we've been working on most recently is we realized the parsing for our value object, which can be an error, a number, or an inch value. We realized that could be done in sort of a standard way, conforming to the way TextField expects things to work. So we finally got that straightened out yesterday, at least for the most part. And the key thing we realized was after it reads something, it displays it, and then it appears to go back again and reread it and make sure it's, I don't know if it's stable or if it just does that once, but it threw us off a bit. But I think we're straight now. We got hip-to-hip measure working with values, so it can use the text field value or inches editor, and we're going from there. Get the other fields. All right, let's see. So convert to work with value. Let's go. We kind of have a lot open. Well, it's Pleat Designer is our focus. Okay, and I don't know if we did this the best possible way, but what we did yesterday was we took, let's find hip to hip. It used to be a double question mark. We made it a value question mark. And that had some consequences that we kind of worked through. And I'm proposing to do the same thing again with the set. Oh, and I guess I can show it off real quickly here. So you enter hip to hip rear is measuring from your hip to your hip, just the back. Okay, so let's say that's 20 inches. Your set is maybe 5 1/8. We'll get that working as a fraction soon. Your natural solution then is make 12 pleats with a width of 1.667. Okay, so that's 1/3 of 5 1/8. And if you do that, you'll have a slight overlap of, well, 625, I think that's a 1/16 of an inch, which is very acceptable. And you'll get your 20 inches. Now you could say, well, what if I made it 11? Okay, well, I don't get 20 inches like that. So if I bump this to 1.8, pretty good. What about 2? Whoops. 2. Okay, 2 gives me 22, so maybe 1.875. Well, that's livable. So that's, what is that? 7/8 and 20 and 5/8. So we're above our target by 5/8. That would be an acceptable variation for someone. Sometimes it's helpful to have an odd number of pleats for reasons we won't go into, but But anyway, all right. So right now, hip to hip, notice it comes out as a fraction, and this one comes out as a decimal fraction. So we're going to try and make that go. And I don't know, this is just on the edge of what I would do. I guess it is what I'm doing, but when we do this, we're going to see there's a bunch of places that don't like it. Every test. Now there's only one in here. Okay, well that's pretty good. Okay, so set cannot convert value to double. We know set is a required value, so it's available, and so we can take as double. All right. So so one change back here. I think our user interface is going to want to change too, but maybe it doesn't mind for now. But I think as we run tests, we'll find out, oh, there's a number of tests that set a set, and they don't use a value. Okay, yeah, like all these. Now, I'm going to say, well, let's put in dot inches like that. Okay, because it is inches. And we'll just work our way down the list. Some of them will be nil, and we don't have to worry about that. Now we could probably make a helper method or a helper assignment thing, but I think let's just get it to where it should be. Hip to hip measure should be in inches as well. We'll have to look at that one. Mostly, I think it doesn't matter because we usually treat it as a double. Oh, I missed a couple. But I would rather get the units right. My limited experience so far is with, well, I would say my one user, but she's used it with 2 or 3 or 4 people at this point. But she tends not to put the inches in when she uses the calculator part, so I suspect she doesn't really want to anywhere else either. It's enough for her to have those fractions coming out, which really fit what she needs. So, I don't know. Yeah, it's like there's an old writer saying about kill your darlings or something, that maybe that was wonderful mathematically, but just doesn't fit with their actual use of it. I mean, even using any calculator is kind of a, modern thing. The other one, I don't know. This value question mark, maybe we could do something about the nil being there too. I mean, we could extend a value with an undefined type or something like that. Set equals $0.input. Okay, that's fine. We'll have to break out this test because you can't say inches of nil. Okay, so let's make that. Okay, well, let's set equal nil, which it defaults to anyway, but that's okay. So equal designer.set error should be the message, which is set as required. Create a designer, set the set. Okay, that seems right. Did I miss a set? Okay. Pleat with, oh, this is setting the set. Okay. Oh no, this one is okay. It's the pleat width that's nil. Okay, so set is dot inches of this. Okay. And I think I got everybody. We're going to work on this message at some point too. Okay, good. Make set a value rather than a double. Okay, but now we didn't deal with the UI, so let's take a look at that. Actually, maybe, how does that work? Okay, that's a spike. Let's get rid of that junk. Okay, so where's set? All right, so hip to hip, switch to focus, designer.hip error. Let's go to field. Focus field. Okay, where's our, Oh, format inches. Oh, okay. So we're using that all over the place already. Okay. Well, let's make sure it works then. And I'm not really trying to test the UI directly. I don't know. Usually I just don't find it worth it. So I'm not doing it. Okay, 20. Oh. Okay. Infinite or not? Okay, that makes me feel like we've forgotten about set. Something's weird, actually. Establish non-required variables. Okay, pleatCount. What's the nil measure here? Print hip to hip measure. It's a number. Okay. 20. Okay, that's what we'd expect. So tentative pleat. Let's print pleat to fabric. Is 0. Okay, that would do it. Why are you off? Okay, if needs required values. Error no value found. Yeah. Well, thought it was too easy. No value found. So somehow right. So value. No value found is what you get when you have no message. It's in our parser, I think. Value parse strategy. Okay. If numbers is empty, throw no value found. Right. So numbers is empty because the input was empty. So rather than getting the nil back, we're getting this error value. And I don't know. We throw this error. I almost think these errors are a mistake. Let's see. I did this one top down. So notice you're allowed to throw if there's an exception in this, but we don't. Let's see. Where's the catch? Okay. Right. We just return an error string or an internal error. And I think what should happen is the caller should realize this is nil and say, "Oh, I'm gonna replace that. I'm gonna throw that." So I guess I'm wondering what would happen if all these dot error throws, which some of them are returned, but if all of those were actually throws and they threw something, that would let the text field do its thing. Sorry, I'm gonna fix this screen on the side here a little bit. Okay, that would let the text field do its thing because I'm sure it detects that exception, and if it's that, I think it's just going to leave it nil. But there are other places where we rely on errors bubbling up and not throwing. Okay, these are parse ones. They could well be exceptions. I don't mind that. Where would an example be? Oh, in our calculations. Yeah, expressions. Okay. If you try, like you have unary minus, a plus or minus key, if you do it when you don't have anything typed in, then there's no value found. You get an error. Now, maybe that should come out as an error here. It maybe it should. Maybe this routine should be throwing as well. So I'm gonna say that error returns maybe are, I don't know. They're nice in a sort of mathematical sense of, you know, instead of working in the inch domain or the inch domain, the numeric domain, I also bring in this error domain. And so my values are sort of like inches or doubles or an error. And it lets it keep it all as kind of the mathematical function of that. But like the only reason I have errors is because I want to get them out to the user and say like, you know, oh, your expression was wrong. So I don't know. And it's showing up here. Well, pleat fabric is an error. I mean, I can check that in pleat designer. I just don't know if it's a step forward. Like, what should I say total fabric is before I set the set? It should be nil. Okay, let's go look at value. It's this feeling like, oh, I know I'm probably doing something that's not helpful. This error thing. And I guess if well, with this value, if pleat fabric, let's see that thing again. Okay. If needs required value return nil, I mean, if set is an error, it should return nil as well. Or we shouldn't let set be an error. But I think I'm trying to do the least damage to things while I talk through or think through what's going to be the most helpful. But I think if set is an error, okay, we know it's there. But if set is it, do I have is error? No. I'd like to ask that. Value. I mean, I'd probably say like case let equals error or something all over the place. Let's look for case let. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I do. All right, let's make a test. Parse strategy. More pleat designer. Let's see, where's fabric? Pleat count to nil sets fabric to nil. We're checking that. Okay, let's say, oops. Hip set, but set nil, no. Error. sets fabric nil. Pleat fabric. All right, let's set this. Let's set this to .error. We're going to say designer dot fabric, pleat fabric should be nil. Okay, this test will fail. Well, right, you don't get to implement it before you get your test ready. Okay, is that on the test we're talking about? Hip set. Okay, I will accept that as my failure. Should have predicted it based on it happening that way at runtime. But it definitely is not going to get through there with this. Let's see. This. Right. Yeah, it's blowing up in here because fabric is not a number, and that's what we're going to address. Okay. So if caselet error equals dot set, then return nil. Okay, and am I doing that right? Caselet error, I don't care about the message. Oh, I don't need to let if I don't have a message. Okay, if case error equals set, return that. Otherwise, return the other. Okay, and I think this should pass. Yes, we are. The sets per pleat is just a plain number. Actually, and the pleat count is a plain number. So we got 2 integers and the rest fractions. Decimal fraction conversion. Yeah, I mean, I honestly think we need, I think I'm thinking of it as implicit inches, that you enter a number and we know it's inches and we're going to say it's inches, but we're just going to print it out as if it were a plain number. And I think that's what we'd like to use in here. Okay, where'd it blow up? Same place. Pleat fabric divided by 3. This is probably because pleat fabric is... Okay. If pleat fabric is nil, we can't do anything. What's need requires values. See, something's funny here, really. If it's an error, it ought to be complaining too, I think. Maybe that's a better place to deal with it. Let's go here. Let's I almost want to make my thing answer hip to hip measure dot is hip to hip measure dot is error, or set dot is error. Okay, this can't be yet, but we'll have to deal with that at some point. And value, where value gets an is error. Okay. Well, I'll put it down here. I don't think I can make this a one-liner. We'll try it. No, I don't think that's going to work. Okay. Oops. Okay, so check for hip to hip being an error, and then for set being an error. And since we found this running, let's make sure we run again. And that's another features. Remembering what tab you were on last. 25. Okay. That nil went fine. Okay. Good. I did that. Okay. This is just an extra little thing, but remember the last tab and go back to it on startup. Probably affects us more than others, but oh well. Okay. Well, painful as that may have been, it took a lot less time than yesterday. Okay, no, it wasn't so bad. Okay. Let's go on. Okay, we got needs required. There's hip is a value. Hip error is a string. Yes, sets is a value. Sets per pleat. I guess it's going to be. Okay, so if this is a value, then we can't. We're going to have to return this as double. But notice our need required value now. It also has to look at sets per pleat is error. Same logic. Okay, and there's going to be some tests that don't store these as values. Oh, I don't like that. Let's see. So sets per pleat. I'm assuming this should be a number. And since it's a value field, it knows it's an. And actually, let me make that inches. We'll check all those. Let's not do it for now, but do it in a minute. Okay, so sets per pleat nil, that's fine. Okay, same. Okay. Good. All right, and let's make sure these are all coming in as inches. At some point, our asserts will get involved. Probably should have just done a couple and then made sure everything was working with that. But okay. Right, Pleat Designer. Okay, so we got hip measure, hip error, sets per pleat, pleat fabric. Should be a value. Now, okay. Now we should be able to do this in our own arithmetic. So it should be this times that. Because well, I don't know how cleverly, but we did give this thing multiplication up top, I think. Right, we gave it the 4 standard operators. So it's allowed to multiply values, so that works to our advantage here. Makes the code look pretty nice. And I mean, it's kind of back to the original. All right, what else is going on here? Pleat fabric divided by 3. Well, this pleat fabric is the one we're changing, right? Right. Okay. So let's make that by number 3. Okay. Oops. All right. Now this one, pleat count int round hip as double tentative pleat. Oh, so this type is now value. Okay. So we can we round? Pleat count is what? It's still int. Okay, so we're gonna have to play with this. So we can take hip to hip measure, take off the as double divided by tentative pleat, because that's now a value. But we'll have to round this dot as double with extra parens. Okay, so we're taking the hip to hip. Oh, not quite. All right, let's put it back. Number 3. Okay, so this is a value. All right, so let's say count as double equals this. I guess I can let the tool do that for me, right? Okay, so that's still an error because tentative pleat is a value. So if I take this off, all right, this whole thing is a value. All right, and I want to get back from a value. This should be pleatness value. Count as value. Okay. All right, I think that'll do it. Again, we may be able to simplify this as we get going. All right, down here. Now this one's a bit more. Okay, pleat validator, pleat width, pleat fabric. All right, so the validator, value 1, value 2. Okay, let's go back. Pleat width is really? He's still a double. Okay. Positive smaller. Is okay, it's only used here. Okay, so double and value. Pleat fabric is a value. Question mark. Okay. Pleat fabric is a value. Smaller. Let's see where smaller is used. This may be the only one of those. smaller, smaller. Well, that's the same one twice. Okay. That's not right. Somebody's calling it. I guess it's an error line, so it rejects it. But value 2 anyway is a value. Okay. If value 1 is nil, or value 2 is nil, or value 1 is less than value 2 dot as double, then return this. Okay, I think that's all right. Okay, now gap. Pleat fabric, at this point we know it's legit, so this should be as double, because pleat width is still double. Okay, and one more. Pleat fabric times double pleat count. Pleat count is now a value. Okay, so, whoops. Can I convert value to expected type double? Pleat count is an int. So what's the problem? Oh, pleat fabric is a value. I guess this one has to be as double. Imagine there's some tests. Thank you. Okay, pleat fabric. Let's make that. This is inches. Okay. I've typed Fabrice so many times now, that's what I've learned to do. All right, back to designer. Sets per pleat fabric of value, pleat count. Well, I think this is going to have to be a value. We're going to have a little work to do on this one. Okay. Value number, okay, this should be inches. Pleat count. Well, pleat count is now a value. So that part's fine, but pleat width is still, see, I want this to be inches. Pleat width, well, it's a double. Okay, pleat count dot as double times that. All right, I I think that's better. Value double pleat count. Okay, pleat count is now a value, so this is dot as double. Hip to hip is inches. Pleat fabric. Well, this is pleat count is now one of those. Okay. And now they're both values, so we can remove off the as double. Oh, I missed some. Whoops. Value to return type double. Oh. Okay, fabric has double. All right. Int round count as value. Okay, pleat count is going to be, well, round. Oh, come on. Okay, let's take this off. Round should return a double. Okay, hip tip and measure is double. Pleat with pleat count is it's our new value type, so it's an as double. Pleat width is still not right. Okay, get out of assign value. Oh, pleat count is now number. And maybe this needs to become a method on value. Okay, I'll just put it over here for a moment. Okay, so far we don't distinguish int and float. All right, now. Okay. All right, pleat count is a number. Nil expects empty. Let me add something back, another little detail. Check that pleatCount is integral. Okay. We did at one point, and now we don't. All right, where's pleat designer tests? Equals dot number. Okay. Oh, sorry. Return type of the function was double for the ones two has doubles. Oh. Okay. And what do we got here? Oh, we got an inches instead of a number. Oh, right. Inch. This should be inches. Good. Okay. Let's see. The return type of the function was double. One took two as doubles. Okay, we'll come back through. Let's go back through and look for as double. Okay, so that's pleat width is still not. Okay. I'm looking for two, right? This one. Needs to return value. Oh, yeah. Total fabric definitely needs to return value as well. I've just been going kind of top to bottom. But that looks like an easy one, so let's do that one. I guess I can pass. Handle pleatCount as value. Okay, this one probably doesn't have as many callers, if nothing else. Okay, so this as double. As double. That should be good. Should be some tests. Oops, I missed one. Pleat view. No. Come on. Okay. Total fabric should be inches. Okay, let's see, format optional. Who calls this? One place. Okay, good. This is value. I think that's two places, but okay. Value nil, return string, otherwise return value. That doesn't seem quite right. This is probably dot as double dot formatted. Absolute gap. Maybe we'll do these at the same time. Well, absolute gap is probably easier. Value. It's nil, return abs gap as double. Return dot inches of absolute gap as double. Oh, gap is still double. Okay. Absolute gap. All right, let's see if that caught everybody. Nope. Okay. So the gap should be inches. Okay, so we handled total fabric and absolute gap as value. Now, we did have that thing where we checked a hip to hip being not a, we checked it being number instead of inches, and I think that's pretty good. I mean, it caught something, so at least we're getting some little tiny benefit here. All right, what do we got left? Pleat count, pleat width. All right, this is the fun one. Well, it's going to get simpler too. Okay, let's make it value. All right, now this one, pleat width is now pleat count times pleat width. We don't need to make it inches anymore. It's already going to be inches. Okay, but notice this. We gotta deal with that just like we did with the other case. Is nil or pleat width is error or pleat count is error. Okay. Well, I think pleat width is not null, so I know it can be done like this. Okay, gap. Let's make this as double. He also needs to return or pleat width dot is error. Okay, so he's still gap. Positive smaller needs, the first argument needs to be a value. Value. Positive value 1. I got value, okay. Name is smaller. Needs to take a value. Okay. This one also, if value 1 dot is error, or value 2 is error, or it is less. Can I find, oops. Is a value. Try again. Okay. Whoops. Value 1 dot as double. Okay, and so that told me less than should be on our list of operations to move. Okay, I think that one should be okay. Hip to hip as double divided by count. Okay, so this one can get rid of the as doubles. And this one width is now double. A pleat count we got to check. Okay, what else? Well, let's look at all these. Okay. Hip sets per pleat. Yes, we check all those. I'm just looking for these checks, so that's why I'm skimming so quick. Needs required or pleat is in error. Okay. Require pleat width or pleat count or pleat width or pleat count. Good. Pleat width. Okay. The more I see this, the more I want to get that out of here. All right. Needs required pleat count. Okay, this should pass tests. And we're working with pleat width, right? Yeah. There's the pleat width. Pleat width nil. Has no error message. Oh, wait a minute. Pleat with nil has no error message. Oh. That's set nil. Okay, I guess that's okay. Pleat width equals... Well, no, that is... I think we've covered that case up there with our nil. Yeah, that was pleat width there. Okay, this is dot inches. Did I miss one? Yeah, thanks. So I wish Twitch let me make my thing beep when I get a chat message, because I've missed a couple today, or been slow on a couple. All right, so this was pleat width. Make pleat width use value rather than double. All right, and we got one more. Good old gap, I think. Yep, value, double. Okay, we're already checking width. Pleat width as double. Well, I think we'll do this. Okay, so pleat width as double is not needed, because 3 times pleat width is a value and pleat fabric is a value. Three times pleat width minus pleat fabric. And this should be gap is double. All right, but let me make sure I got this gap right. 3 times pleat width minus fabric divided by 2. 3 times pleat width minus fabric divided by 2. Okay, I think that's okay. And gap. Let's add isPositive. Okay, and then this one, I think we need to add our error thing. pleatCount dot is error. Turn nil. Message pleat validator. Gap is a value. If gap all right, designer tests. Huh, I think if I put 0.0, I bet I get a different error. Nope. Oh, interesting. Okay. Is this going to be a type 1 too? Well, gap should always be inches, so we somehow got a number calculation out of it. And the zeros, huh? Just the zeros? 0, 0. Okay, so... And he came out as a number. Okay, so it must be on that when you set the hip, you update everything. I mean, everything you can. Plate width. This is a number. This should be inches. Let me look for dot number. Okay, that 3 is okay. Pleat count is a number. Sets per pleat is a number. That's okay. Number 3, pleat with pleat fabric. Well, pleat width should be in inches and pleat fabric should be in inches. Oh, right. Number is typeless. Okay. Oh. Gosh, that's a funny thing. But we went to the trouble to make it mathematically correct, so let's do it here. Yeah, thank you. All right. Okay, so at this point, we've switched it. Let's make a quick run. Make sure our UI agrees. Okay, this is 20. I think there's going to be some issues, but 26, that's an easy one. 10, 2. Okay. And then if I change this to 11, it's going to say 22 up top. If I change this to 3, I'm going to have gap at 1.5. Yep. But if I make this 1.5, oh yeah, changing these does change the downstairs here. Okay. 3 times 11, well, let's try 7. Yeah, that's better. Okay, an inch is sort of in the acceptable range. Okay, now this, I honestly think this should be 1.5, but we'll see. Frankly, I'm pretty sure my wife will be so thrilled she's got her fractions on this stuff, 3 minus, that sort of thing. She won't be as picky. Oh, but gap. Why is gap? We must not enforce the inches. 22.118. Now she knows this too. It's a little touchy to get in there. 6.1. Okay, yeah, these two are not showing up as fractions. Okay, so gap and total pleats. Total fabric. But I think we've done that for the most part. The pleat designer itself is happy. All right. Calculate pleats using values. Good. All right. That's a good place to take a break. All right, so let's take a break, 3 or 4 minutes again, and I think we've got some cleanup to do here, but I think we're okay. Yeah, these domain specific types, I like it. I think there's some keyboard issues that we're gonna have to work out, and there's miscellaneous problems, but I think, I mean, the real thing for the designer is having this pleat width come out like this with the fractional value is going to be primo appreciated. So, I mean, actually, she came home yesterday after trying to use this, and it's like, oh, the numbers were decimal, you know, and pretty frustrated by that. I guess she didn't quite put it together that you could copy that decimal number or type it in on the calculator and say equals, and it'll turn it into a fraction, but we're doing that here for her, so that's cool. All right. Well, anyway, let's take that break, and I think we've pushed through finally on this, and now it's time for some good cleanup and fill in these last little bits of gaps and stuff. So, all right, I'll see you in a few. Welcome back. All right. Cleanup. Well, let's take a read through it once first. I think I'm gonna pull this all the way over a bit. I think we'll keep value, and let's just close the rest for now. Keep complete. We don't need. Okay, so I just want to go through this and catch what's funny. So one is this isError thing, and this is a bigger problem. Should value really have .error types? And it'll be a change to get rid of that. Okay, so that's one thing. And I think we don't have a choice now because it doesn't just we default it to nil, but an empty string still gets parsed and listed as an error, which is too bad. Okay, I think. Okay, this number round count value as double. Right, that's a round function on our value. Let's add that. And I think, well, it's kind of fits with these other operators. Times, divide, and so on. All right, let's. Did I make these public? Yes. Again, I'm just trying to do a tiny cleanups. Okay, so function round returns a value. And, well, it's kind of like this. Well, that's somewhere in it. All right. If really, it should be rounded to whatever inches if it's inches and all that. So let's just do a switch self. Error. Just return self. Case. I guess he's. Number of value. I don't know if I can say count. Let inches of value. Can I do that? This must have at least, yes. Okay. And now I want this. Oh no, I still need to know which one it was. Okay. Case let. Can you ramp the original parser and catch the errors? Yeah, that may be a good way to do it. Right. Okay. I think, yeah, we had to import foundation. Oh no. Round a value as double self. No. Oh, the value is a double? Okay. Okay. I didn't have to refer to it over here, so what's going on? Round of value. I think I import foundation. To instance method, can I say value.round? Double, round, double. Well, what's your problem? Where are you imported from? And this is really like math.h. Okay, we are down there. Use of round refers to instance method rather than a global function round. I guess we'll accept it. Why it was not needed over. Values type is double. As double is double. Why? Well, okay, we haven't used it. Let's swap it in. Count as value. Dot round. Is that proper? Yeah. Okay, so that should be okay. Okay. All right. Next. Well, I guess we're doing this way. Hit measure divided by pleat count. Okay. I want to break. I like leaving this broken out because pleat fabric divided by 3 is really just the actual domain knowledge we're bringing in here. Okay. And that's okay. Oh, we should look at these two. Set error. Okay. Sets pleat, good. Yeah, other than these error things, I'm pretty happy. 3 times that. Well, I think, again, I'm going to put the gap is error on there. It shouldn't hurt anything, even if it's not needed. But I think keeping these consistent, eventually we'll get rid of them. I'm sure somehow. Okay. All right, so let's see if these things are working all with values. Required positive, is anybody calling this? Hoping not. Pleat designer. This leaves, let me. That seems to be a leftover thing. Okay, pleat designer, pleat validator. Why these are coming up is hip to hip is a value. Value. Okay. I don't think this one is needed. Required and positive value. This one again should probably not be needed. Required value name and positive value. Right. That. Well, both these. And, okay. All right. Let's make sure what we did here. Okay, so that was cleanup of the previous one. Formatting, error check, and row dead code. round of, okay, we got absolute value less than and greater than or equal to 0, or greater than 0. I guess absolute value is on absolute gap. Okay, so let's do abs, which is going to look a lot like this. Probably make me put Darwin back in. Well, I'd feel better about saying Swift here if it lets me do that. No. Okay. I'm just building with this. I haven't called it. Okay. So this is gap dot abs. There's my positive. That's really non-negative, isn't it? I think this time I can put them both in here. I guess it's sort of a not a number kind of thing. All right, I don't think it affects this per se. Okay, and then less than. Maybe that was the greater than. We don't have a lot of conditional on that. I don't know why one's Swift and the other's Darwin. Unless they just, we don't need a Swift abs if we've got a Darwin abs. Or a Swift round if we got a Darwin round, I guess. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think we've done those things. Oh, this one didn't show up. Make gap and total fabric show up as fractions. Okay, that's an output thing. Okay, so if this is, we'll make 21, try and get some odd numbers in here. 6.37. Okay. 129. I hit return the tab. That should change into a fraction. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, these should be in our fraction form. Okay. Pleat view. Well, right. I've got them formatted here. Format optional. I believe I'm using it for both those. Can I say dot inches? Ha. Okay. No. Why did you suggest it if you didn't want to allow it? Okay. Let's see. We got format. Formatted with. Well, that seems like it should accept that. Oh, value.formatted with inches. Right. And this is the sort of thing that's like, yeah, you're doing it right. This is coming out pretty good. Set is 6.2. Okay, that's coming out that way. Oh, nice. This is gonna be good. Now, there's a weird thing here. If I'm leaving a little gap here because if we have error messages, it formats funny. It takes up so much space. Yeah, that's what we get there. I'm going to try and, well, I guess if I put this back, I can get these two wrong. No. Okay. See, there's no space here. I'm leaving enough space for that. If I don't, it leaves this overlapping until you scroll out or something. It's really weird. But I am kind of thinking of, I would like to do something to make the hip, the sets per pleat. I would like to have a little drawing that where you can set those three values. Maybe dragging this and getting something. And then I'd like to make this thing on the bottom. Oh, number of pleats would be with that. Make this thing on the bottom, pleat and gap. I don't know. Total fabric is not easy. You can move the image into the footer of the scroll view. Oh, that's an interesting thought. Yeah. Also, this text seems a little big to me. But yeah, let's see what scroll view can do. No. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I could move it after the scroll view, maybe. Like just leave it up there and make you scroll the form around. But I don't know. Then it's like you don't know that you have to fill everything in, or you don't see it unless you think to scroll. So I don't know. I do want to change this font though. This is all a little gotten a little ugly too. Label font title. Okay, what are some? Um, they're not custom fonts. Here we go. Title 2. Headline, that might be a good one. I think we tried this. I wasn't happy, but let's see. Well, okay, anyway, my hope is if I do this well that we can fit all three of these pictures in. Oh yeah, that's all right. That'll work. I'd like to fit it so all three pictures, at least 2.5, fit in. So you might know you need to scroll for it, but you'd have all those. I think that would be nicer. The more graphical I can make it, I think the more it makes sense to the people doing it. I understand this stuff better. Now, I haven't dealt with drawing. I did a little work on drawing last weekend, but what I really want to do is make one shape or one shape object or drawing object that can handle the case of no gap, some gap, wide gap, a little overlap, a lot of overlap, and a military pleat. And I think in the military pleats, this right hand triangle will point further into this space, and this one should raise up. So even a small overlap, they should probably do that. If I can get that going and make it so that 0 is the wide gap and 120, 0.25 is the small gap, and 0.5 is the gap, is no gap, and 0.75 is this, and 0.10 is 1.0 is a full military pleat. I think if I can make that range, then I'll be able to get an animation as you change these values, and I think that'd be kind of nice, just to give you that sense of what you're doing. I don't think I want to make the widths go too crazy, but maybe we can do a little bit. There's only, I think what I heard was 1/2 inch is like the smallest pleat width you'd ever do, and I think 3 inches is maybe the largest. I don't know if I've seen maybe some 4-inch ones, but a 4-inch pleat, that's a pretty big pleat. But there's some big burly guys out there doing some of the athletic stuff where they toss phone poles and stuff like that. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see. Okay, that's future work. Let's focus, Bill. All right, make these show up as fractions. Done. Oh, that's gonna be so popular. So appreciated. Okay, check the pleat count as integral. Well, I think it has to be. The way we're assigning it now, it may pleat count. Okay, so here's an assignment to it. It's rounded. Okay, let's find another assignment. There's no assignment. Oh, but what if they enter something? Okay, let's enter a pleat count that's suspicious. Okay. Scrolling is... Yeah, maybe we need that. Okay, so I think I can... Oh, okay, the deal is I can here. Now, what would that mean? Yeah, Highland Games. um, hmm. Well, I think the one thing is the keyboard. I put a keyboard on the pleats, number of pleats. The keyboard doesn't have a decimal key, so you'd have to be working to put the decimal in. But if you did, you'd get some weird consequences. If I hit tab, what happens? Uh-huh. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, let's leave that for a future consideration. Or well, no, what we did before was we just put that in the message. And if um let's see, where's Pleat Designer? Okay. The message for pleatCount, it really should be positive and integral. Okay, so let's add that back in. This is the one place that needs integers so far. I I hate to do a lot of mechanism if we don't need it. Now I could, well, an option would be if pleat count, you can reassign it. Yeah, I'm thinking add a warning or just reassign it. Like this is a spike. Let's just say pleat count equals pleat count dot round. Okay. And I don't know that I can test this directly, but I can. 20 and 5. All right. And then if I did 12.49, it rounds. Okay. 12.50 probably rounds. Yeah. 12.99 certainly rounds. Okay. Yeah. Let's add a test for that. Okay, so pleat designer tests. Pleat count, that's good. All right. Okay, so we have to set these two. All right, and then let's set this to number 10.5, and this should be 11. Forced to integer. Okay, and then the consequence comes through like this. It really is modified. Okay. Pleat count is number 11. I don't care about these. This is what I'm testing. Okay, I have to set the 3, and then I can force this one. This should fail. So I put that line back in. Okay, well, what was the failure? Optional 10.5 is not equal to 11. Good. And then we'll take this back in. Yeah, and I tried pushing on that, like, well, what if this happened, and what if that happened? Would you just do half the pleat and take the extra fabric or whatever? And it's like, no, we'd never have a partial number of pleats. If we had that coming up, we would adjust the waist, the hip length. Yeah, there's no, I mean, you could fold something 4/5 the size, but it would look stupid, so they're not going to do that. And these are the people that are sewing, to make sure every stripe lines up the middle, they're not going to let you have a pleat that's half the size of another one or something. And basically they would just adjust the hip size or rework how much was in the front and the back and that kind of thing to make sure it came out to an even number of pleats, or a whole number of pleats, I should say. All right, this should pass. Okay, force pleat count to stay an integer or to be. All right, that saves us from an error message and a test and a validation test and all that. Okay. And that might, I might look at doing a stepper for the pleat size or pleat count, because once it's set, then you probably go up or down one or two or something most of the time. So, all right. Let's force pleat count to be integral. All right, this question. Use new formatter approach. Okay, I'm going to defer this question for now. I think that'll annoy her for now, but I just don't want to fight it. I don't think it's hard. Like your suggestion yesterday, I think we can just add another button to the field thing. Is that going to work? I don't know if we can. I don't know. It might be hard. Okay, how to show error. I'm not sure what that's saying. Is that, should Value really have error types? I think that's the same question. Because we show errors. We got those little boxes with the highlights and the red box and the text underneath it. Really like that. Okay, so should Value have error types? Okay, so let's go back. Yeah, your suggestion was around parsing, like we would just, catch errors there. So I think we can. I'm gonna try leaving error in there as long as I can, but add in the notion of throwing error results. Now, do I want every silly function to be a try catch? That's what that avoids, and that's fine. But I think maybe the parsing, I think it's an error in the parser to do that. And I think our expression stuff maybe leans on it too hard. Okay, I think I just heard ring 3. Yep. Okay. Let's deal with the parsing aspect. Value parse strategy. Okay, so this is what you're allowed to do. This is the big function you call, and it throws. All right, so I should make, if I make this throw, so here's return error, that can become a throw. Okay, and then the test will fail, but that's okay. Okay, so now throws. I don't think that, okay, this has to say try, but he's allowed to throw. Okay, that should be okay. Just do it slow. It does. Let's see. Is it expression? I think. Yeah. So he does get errors that turn, or problematic things happen that turn into errors, and then we rely on error to always bubble up in our value type. So everything here, if you got an error, return self. If the other one's an error, return other. So any combination of two errors becomes another error. But some of these are more syntactic errors, like this. This is syntax. This is syntax. This is syntax. You know, I don't know. I feel like this thing might benefit from throwing too, but it does add so much work catching things everywhere. I mean, and when it's such a mathematical type like this, it's actually kind of smooth. But I think parsing is different because we don't have a value yet. So there's, you know, this is not something coming from a value that becomes a bad value. It's something that never should have been allowed to be a value in the first place. All right. Okay, so my strategy is going to be make something turn one of these into a throw, and then presumably there's tests that catch this. Okay, let's look for that first. Okay. Why are you text? Okay, so yeah, we got 3 tests that check for this phrase. So they will fail if I do a throw. Now, whether this value object is the right thing to be, I don't think it is. I think they should just throw a string. I think I can say extension string is an error. I don't think I've done that before. Okay, make sure that works. Type any error has no member error. Let's just throw this string. Okay, so this is one of these reverse TDD kind of things. I don't know if that's what they call reverse TDD. I think somebody's using that name for something already. I watched it and it just kind of didn't stick in my head. But we're doing something where we take an expected value we know is tested and mess it up and expect it the test to break, even though I'm kind of moving to the right, quote, right implementation. So I better see at least 1 and probably 3 tests that don't build or don't compile. I mean, or don't work, don't run. Okay, so test units and operations. Which one? Expect numbers and units don't match. Right, so he threw an exception. He got internal error. Okay. That's a wrong thing. Numbers and units don't match. He got internal error. Okay, we're getting consistently internal error. Anybody else? Okay. Internal error is probably coming from in here somewhere too. Yes. He catches everything. Okay. All right. So I'm going to say well, he's going to do catch. Do I have to? I mean, I put it on the caller to catch now if I do this, right? Okay, I think there, okay. How did he get internal error? Oh, I built, I didn't run. Okay, somebody's gonna complain. Thank you. 7 failures, okay. That's the same. Oh no, internal error, okay. Internal error, where is that coming from? if it's not coming from here. Are these things really running? Value formatter. Oh, value formatter can return internal error. And value can return internal error. Oh, he does a parse. Who calls this thing? See, I think we may have more stuff going on. Why is value.parse? Okay. So I'm a little worried that parse strategy has our parse. Who calls this? Okay. Parse strategy. Value calls that. And some tests. Where's this? Parse does that. Well, what are these tests doing then? Calculator test. All right, well, that's coming from... Okay, that's really coming from that value, the expression one, because it's digits and units and slashes. I don't think these are coming from that. This is deeper than I want. I'm not bothered that these fail because they're kind of failing similarly. Numbers and units don't match. As a matter of fact, I think I could pull these two together. It would be better maybe, but all right. I think, all right, where's that error? Let's go back to value. My one throw, sorry, it's value parse. He does not escape. Does nobody calls this directly except value, right? Value parse strategy. Okay. I kind of want to make this throw. Who calls this? Is it really only that value place? Yes. Should evaluate throw, I guess. Yeah, so I think because the calculator, sorry, is it calculator? Value catches it. The value parse strategy gets used implicitly, right? Is that correct? Let's find this thing. Value parse strategy, value. Parse strategy. Okay. Yeah, so format and all that uses this. But format, well, these don't care. This cares. Yeah, that is the only expression is the only place that uses value.parse. I mean, I could just do value parse strategy.parse, right? I mean, if I needed to. I mean, it gives me that with a throw. Now, let's see what expression does. Well, evaluate goes to value. I mean, I could do a catch and just return a value for now. That's kind of what we do down here. Or who calls evaluate? That's only one place, two places. History and or equals and memory operations. Okay. And here we're doing this, which is almost like a try catch kind of thing. I wouldn't mind a try catch here, I guess. Where's the other one? Same kind of thing. Okay, let's make. I gotta make tests pass. And this return. Sorry, I keep looking at the wrong one. Value parse strategy. Throws. It's this throw here. If I put it back to return.error, everything should pass. Okay. I'm not doing the do catch anymore. Okay, let's put this back to, I guess I'm backing up a little bit here. Okay. I'm going to say, okay, one thing I can do is I can simplify this to my string. So let's do that. And then I got to catch it down here. Well, it's string. How do I do that? Is that... Is it error? Okay. Yeah. I know I've seen it done. I've probably even done it. Swift throw string as error. Right, that's what I did. Throw this extension string. Where's my catch? Let error as. Well, I kind of don't want to do that. Oh, just let error. Let error where. Can I say where error is string? Well, I guess I just said it is string, so we can say as string. All right. Can I convert return value type string? Throw this. Okay, so I'm not sure if this. Yeah, you're right. So I'm going to move these to strings. I guess that's my step forward for the moment. Okay, now, I don't know, do I have other strings in this one? No, not really. Not in this function. Okay. All right, now, this throws. Let's fix expression. There, that's the place. Okay, if I say throws and build, I should have 2 complaints plus some tests. Okay, so here we have to try, and we're going to have to put in a do catch. I do want to do the same thing. Error is string. Is that acceptable? Then I get the other catch. Right, this has string. Yes, not exhaustive. Now I got to do this. We're not appending it to history, so we're going to return and a catch. Okay, that's that one. That sure looks duplicated, doesn't it? Okay. And then this one, do, try. Oh, this comes out to the Okay, if it's an error, we'll keep that for now. But here we know it's an error, so error message has to be assigned. And again, I'm gonna directly catch. Yes, you're right. Okay. This is so similar. I'm gonna copy it out. I think it is literally the same. Result equals try expression input dot evaluate. If case let error. Yep. Okay. Errors thrown from here. Okay, good. All right. We owe ourselves some duplication cleanup, but for now, okay, so that's good. Okay, now evaluate. Let's do a throw. Because I don't think an error value is super helpful here. Throw this. Okay, and the test should be identical still. I'm not changing any behavior yet. Good. Okay, so let's make expression.evaluate able to throw. Okay. Right. So, okay. So I think we can take any error here and if we throw, we've still got the mechanism to catch it and turn it into an error and all that stuff. So it shouldn't break any tests. Good. Okay. Unbalanced parentheses are missing operators. Well, I kind of buy that. See, this comes out at the end. Nothing equals operators.pop. Okay. So you get a right parenthesis and there's no operators, then you're expecting one. All right, let's see that error again. It is only one case, right? I would certainly accept this as the message, error unbalanced parentheses. So I think what's happening before this, it shoves something on the stack to let it continue, and then down at the bottom, the operand count doesn't match, and so it knows it had to have been one or the other. But I think this error is actually a better error. Okay, so I'm gonna take off my refactoring hat and accept this error and bonds parentheses. Okay. Now, that may have been the only place that could generate that message, the other message. Expression. Okay, so let's get to this one. Operands count not equals 1. Okay, so this is when you get to the end. You should have one thing left. Okay, let's look for this message. I have a feeling that was the only test that looked for it. No, okay. Oh, there you go. 9 space 7. Okay. That still passes, so I think that's okay. Because, yeah, if you recall, the only way you can get 2 entries in a row is the memory button. Because otherwise, if you type 9 and then 7, we think it's 97. But if you did 9 and then memory plus and memory recall, then it's kind of coming back. Okay, so you do get this message still. All right. So we will take this message, and I know it's okay because, like, if you hit that one, then you should exit anyway. And the fact that you've kind of jiggered up the stack to not work doesn't set entry when it throws. Yeah, I think if I can say it, the up here, even this operand's not clear, I don't think is helpful. Nothing will know, but it kind of reworked the stack to put something on it, even though it was expecting something and didn't find it, So, like when you write expressions with right parentheses, 5 plus 2, right parend, it's fine to end there. But if you want to have something happen after it, it's either got to be a right parenthesis because it's deeply nested, or an operator. And that's the problem here, was you didn't have either one. So this also is not meaningful. Let's see, because, well, when you come in for each expression, you're gonna redo the stack, so you don't care that there's no operands on it. Nobody's using this now. So before, it was kind of a recovery thing. You'd push an operand on there anyway, and it would be there, Now that doesn't matter. Okay. And they should all pass now. Okay. All right, so make expression throw when it hits errors. Okay, and this is kind of in progress. All right, because we're out of time for today, I believe. Yeah, well over. If it were radio, I'd be in trouble. But in any case, we'll pick up here tomorrow, finding some other places with errors and making them throw as well. And then I think that'll unlock getting through these error types. That really is the big place that relies on that so far. All right. Well, thanks for joining up today and tomorrow, 2 to 4:30 Eastern Time or 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC. Thanks again, Mudshark666. And anybody else watching, not commenting, good to have you, and see you tomorrow or some other time. Thanks. Bye-bye.